Hi traders, Jason here. I am super excited to get this video out to you. It has been a long time in the making. We're going to cover some of the really special, exciting, phenomenal updates to the DTB system, as well as cover some new technology in the strategies that is a first on NinjaTrader. Literally not a single vendor company out there has this technology in their strategy. So we're going to jump into that a little bit later on this video. I'm also going to be creating timestamps in this video so that you can watch certain aspects of the video over again, because we're going to go into some detail, not incredible high detail, just enough that we can make sure that it is simple to understand. So even a new person looking at trading, a new person looking at the futures markets will be able to grasp this, because we've also got a way of working with the tools that is going to make it so much more simple and effective, and that's going to really help your trading. So let's jump into that. We are going to first look at the website. So I've made a few little updates on the website, including my new logo, which is pretty cool, if I may say so myself. Actually signifies Dubai, or it is the skyline of Dubai, where I'm opening up my trading room and support center toward the latter end of this year. So really hyped about that. You'll notice I now have a blog on the page. So you're going to notice a tab there saying NinjaTrader 8 blog. This is where I'm going to be putting some articles, just some latest setup things that I'm putting out. And also one of these blogs actually is entitled "A NinjaTrader First, Adjusting Automated Strategy Settings Without Reloading the Strategy." So this is, this is the new advancement in the automated strategies. And we'll go into this in a bit more detail as we go. We've actually got sliders on the strategies now where you are able to adjust the settings without even reloading it. You're able to adjust the settings, adjust the slider, and it immediately updates the strategy settings, and the strategy starts acting on those updated settings without refreshing the chart, without stopping and starting the strategy, adjusting anything on the back end. It's all done on the screen on the chart. So incredible update. Okay, so let's just go back to the home page. Now, as a member of DTB Traders, you're going to have access to the members area, and in the members area you're going to have the links to different avenues of support. We've got a new Discord. We've actually got a brand new Discord server that has been set up. We have a few, really good back-end things that are going to help you guys, including a script that is going to help you install the DTB tools into NinjaTrader with only a few clicks. So this is what we're going to be looking at next. Okay, great. So as soon as you click on the link to download the tools, it's going to take you to the OneDrive folder. Okay, so as soon as you click on OneDrive, what it's going to do is it's going to bring up the tiles. It's going to bring it up as tiles like this. So if you would, please go and just click on list so that we can actually read what the tiles or what the folders and stuff are called. Now, there's only 4 icons on the page. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible. I've tried to keep it as clear and clean as possible. So if you look at this, it says read me, start here, first steps, do nothing before reading this. Okay, so I cannot make it more clear than that. So the first thing you do is click on that and read this document. So this document is going to be, let me just increase it a bit in the size. Okay, I'm pressing my control button to zoom in, but it's not zooming in so nicely. Okay, so let me just deactivate this video too so we can see more of the screen. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. Hi traders, Jason here. Welcome you to the DTB system of tools. Okay, this folder contains this document which you're reading now. So read this section over here, and what it's going to do, it's going to come to the part over here where it says new members start here. It says the first step for new members is to run the script and select option 7 so that you have the DTB system of tools downloaded to your PC. Do that now and come back to this document. Okay, so once you've done that, you basically know what to do next. You need to go and run the script. So go out of this right now, okay? And I see it's a lot easier if we just download these 2 files. So we have to run the script. This is the script. It was even called that inside there. It's even called that in the document. So let's just go and download these 2 files, including the script. Okay, so we're going to click on download. It's going to put it in our folder. So you right click on there and go show in folder. It's going to go to your downloads folder on your computer. Now do this. Let me just do something over here and make sure we've got that. Okay. I don't know why that is over there. So I'm going to just delete that. Okay, so it's called OneDrive. So right click on it and go unzip it with whatever program you have. So I'm going to go extract files, and it's going to put them there. Okay, OneDrive. Okay, so I've clicked on that, and again, there's my document. Okay, so now I can open the document and hopefully zoom in. Great. Okay, so whatever, if you've got a document viewer on your computer, Microsoft Word, or PDF viewer, it's going to open it. So now at least you can read this document a lot clearer now that it's downloaded to your computer. Okay, so we're going to go and run this script first. Okay, so we can minimize this, go to the script. Now it does help to right click on the script and go run as administrator. It'll just help with some error messages. You might have an antivirus thing that might come into play and cause issues. But this is the script that you're going to be using not only to launch NinjaTrader, but also to update all the templates and update your system. It also has a really cool function to scrub NinjaTrader of all the excess hoarded files that NinjaTrader so loves to hang on to, that ultimately causes system failures. It causes the platform to lag, causes major data corruption issues. So these options definitely help with that. Okay, so we're not going to jump into all those yet. We're going to do exactly what the form says. It says run the script and select 7. So we're going to go and do that right now. We're going to press 7 and enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to download all the templates from the OneDrive folder. It's created a folder on the desktop that you can either keep there or delete later, but it's created this folder on the desktop, and in there it's going to have all the just a quick link to the shortcuts. Again, it's got start here. It's basically everything in there. So if you click on start here and you click on this 00, it's going to bring you back to this document. So the exact same document we were just reading now, it's actually in there. So once you've run the script, okay, it's going to say to confirm that you have the tools and templates on the PC, navigate to Documents, NinjaTrader 8, and you'll see the DTB folder there. So we already know they're there because we got on the thing on the desktop, but we also want to go to our Documents folder and NinjaTrader 8, and we're going to see the DTB file over there. Now, on some computers, it downloads a folder called DTB Traders. On this one over here, it says navigate to your documents, DTB Traders, DTB Assemblies. Okay, so on this one over here, what it did is it just put the DTB Assemblies folder. So what I've done is I've actually put the DTB Traders folder inside this this folder too. So exactly what you got on your desktop is actually in your NinjaTrader 8 folder too. So you can click on the DTB Assemblies, There's the DTB traders, and everything we were just looking at is in here. Okay, so let's just pull this aside right now. Go back to the folder. All right, so what we normally do first is import the assembly into into NinjaTrader. So this is where we are going to be catching up to what we did before. So before we used to download the DTB assembly and import it into NinjaTrader. So right now we can actually go back to the script. All right. Okay, so this is saying import the latest assembly. So I should have actually put something there saying, run the script and launch NinjaTrader. But that's okay. As you're watching this video, so we can do it on there. So you can go back to the script again. Okay, run it again, and it'll say update DTB templates and launch NinjaTrader with high resource priority. So we are going to launch NinjaTrader and update the templates. So all the templates for the DTB system, this includes indicator templates, it includes chart templates, it includes workspaces, all of the stuff that I've created on the back end and some of the members have been working on have actually been saved so that you can just press 1, and what will happen is it will put all of those files in the correct places in your NinjaTrader 8 directory. Okay, so that is what this is doing. All right, perfect. So import the latest data DTB assembly only. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to go into our NinjaTrader. We're going to go Tools, Import NinjaScript add-on, and we're going to go find the folder. So if it doesn't come up with this specific folder, just go to your Documents, NinjaTrader 8, DTB Assemblies, and you'll see the assembly listed there. So it's always going to look like this. It's always going to say DTB Traders, Strategy, Bars, and it's going to have the date on it. So click on the assembly over there. Okay, just the one file, and import that into NinjaTrader. As soon as you've imported that into NinjaTrader, you're going to get this successfully imported message. If you want to import some more add-ons, so I've included 2 other add-ons here called the NCAT Shortcut Toolbar and the NinjaRenka Bars. I've already got them in my system, but they are there for you to also work with. Very cool tools to use. So you can go ahead and do those as well. You may need to restart NinjaTrader afterwards, which you can do through the script again. Okay. All right, so we covered the import the latest assembly, and we also covered import any other assemblies. All right, perfect. Final step, okay, to the DTB system, go to Help Third-Party Licensing, enter DTB Traders in the first field and your name in the second field, and hit Submit. NB, notice, only your first name in the field will work, the one you registered as a member with on the website. So starting with a capital, my name is Jason, so I put DTB Traders and Jason. Now please do this, because if you don't, it's going to really delay your activation. So we're going to go and do that right now. Help Third-Party Licensing, DTB Traders, Jason. Okay, so you'll go put your name, don't go put Jason. So you'll go Help Third-Party Licensing, you're going to put DTB Traders, and you're going to put your name. Okay, like that. And then you're going to hit Submit. Okay, and then that's going to populate this area over here, and this area is going to be your unique ID with your name at the end. And this is the same one that this is the exact same process that you did when you registered as a member. So when you registered as a member, this is the same process that you did. Now I am having a few members put different stuff in here. They're not reading, what it says. So this is your opportunity to go and fix that section, and also just to do it again to make sure that we've definitely got your right machine ID and user ID in there. Okay, so once you've clicked submit, come back to this document. Okay, and it says remember to run the script often so you can stay up to date with the templates. Okay, perfect. All right, so we can actually close this now. So for all members, this is definitely the first thing to do is go and read this document, do what it says in there, and that's going to make sure that the DTB system is in your NinjaTrader. So now that you've got your NinjaTrader open, you can go to connections, you can connect to your data feed. Okay, I'm going to just minimize these folders. Now, remember in your documents NinjaTrader 8 folder, you're going to have these folders over here. Now you notice the DTB traders popped up there all of a sudden. It wasn't there earlier, but now it's there. So it's there. It's got all the shortcuts. It's telling you can go straight to your chart templates. These are all the DTB chart templates that automatically are in on your NinjaTrader platform. We've got I've got some ATM templates in there that I've created for you. I've got the drawing tool for the Fibonacci retracements in there. I've got the indicator. All the indicators have got their different templates in there. So if I go into any of these, really, let me just go into trend following. That one's got just default. That's all you need for the default. We have got trade support. So they're all going to have all the templates that I provide, or that the members of the DTB system provide, are all going to have a DTB TT00 at the end. So every time you run the script and update your templates, these are going to update and replace your existing ones in your folder. So if I've made a small little update to any of these templates, it's going to delete the old one and replace it with a new one. So these templates are already inside your platform. This is just the shortcut to them. Okay. All right. So let's go and look at one of the templates. So I've created a template already. So if you go to Workspaces and you go to Signal Chart Combo 1 and 2, this is just one of them. And later on, there's going to be a lot more in here with the DTB TT00 at the end. There's going to be all different ones. They're all going to be on different videos to help you guys get started. But this specific one over here, I've created 2 chart templates. Okay, so it's going to just load those 2 templates right now. And the cool thing about this is you don't have to go and load any of these indicators yourself in the beginning. They literally all here on the chart. So exactly what I'm seeing here is exactly what you're going to be seeing, obviously with slightly different pricing and data on the chart, but you're actually going to be looking at the exact same indicators and settings that I created for you on your chart. So let me just put them side by side right now. Okay, and what I've also done is, if you go and look at that folder that we've created, okay, we'll go back. So we'll go to the documents folder. We'll go to NinjaTrader 8, DTB traders. We'll go start here. And this is where you're going to see those ones in there. So you have got the signal chart combo. Another way to actually bring it up. So if you bring up any chart, okay, so even if you haven't loaded up this workspace, if you go new chart on your on your platform, and you're going a brand new chart, and say you want to because we've got the DTB bars, so we've got the unique bars for DTB traders. So I've got a 22 and a 22 bar over there. You can leave break it in on or off, that's fine. So if you load up a brand new chart, you right click on your chart, you go templates, and you go load, you are going to see these templates over there, and you're going to see a lot more as we develop more. But this one, the first one we'll load is the DTB signal chart combo 1, and we'll load that. So this is the one that I created for you. It's in there. It's immediately available. So as soon as you click on it, if you're not seeing the price, you're not seeing what's happening. If you see an F on the top right hand corner, just click on that. It'll bring the price in. Okay, so this is exactly the same as that. You see, the values are exactly the same. So I'm going to close that one I just created. That's just to show you how to bring it up easily. Okay, so now we've got this, we've actually got this chart and you can have a look at it. And the cool thing is that you've actually got a document already in your computer in this folder called Signal Chart Combo, and it explains everything about this specific chart, what the indicators are, how to deal with them, what it looks like, how to act on them. So it's really a step-by-step guide on exactly how to work on this chart. So I've made it, as you can see, very helpful for you guys. And this is going to just keep increasing. You know, every single chart setup, every single signal chart is going to have a good detailed explanation of how to actually react on that chart. So definitely take your time and, you know, read through these, read through what the indicators do. So it's going to tell you, you know, the first clear detail on panel 1 is the red and blue triangle. So you're reading this over here, and then you can reference back to the chart. Now you're going to notice, you know, on some systems, for some reason, I don't know why NinjaTrader does this, but it does. Some systems, it's not going to give a triangle, it's going to give a line. Okay, so these are actually supposed to be red triangles and blue triangles that work off the EMA. So this is to show you, you know, basically when the price is going below the EMA, when the price is going above, it's actually painting these arrows or these triangles on the chart. So if you go into your indicator settings, and this might just be one little thing that you can do to highlight those a lot better, is you can go into your DTB EMA indicator and you could scroll to the arrow size. So this is the arrow size. I'm actually going to just make it 100. Okay, let me see if this is a good value. There we go, 100. I'm actually going to change the template and make it 100 too. So this is where it's going to show you these blue and red lines. On my chart, it's showing blue and red lines. Those are basically points of entry that you can look out for. You know, again, read the document that it comes with. It's going to explain to you, you know, what the significance is of having green bars, what the significance is of having these orange bars. It's going to talk about these divergences. It's going to talk about, you know, the RSI. It's going to talk about everything that you are seeing on the chart. Okay, so that is the first chart that's covered in this specific template or this workspace. The second one over here is going to be the second one in the folder. So if you scroll back to the folder, you're going to see DTB Signal Chart Combo 2. And that's going to discuss everything on this specific chart. You see, it's going to have some pictures, some diagrams. I've circled some of the areas, and then I've spoken about these areas. And again, it's in a specific format that's designed to be following like the previous one. And again, you know, some of the wording is the same, but definitely still read it, because these, you know, the first one says that the first clear detail on panel 1 is the positioning of the strategy line. So the previous one says the positioning of the EMA. So read through this, and this is going to also help you really understand what to look for on this specific chart. Okay, so this one is a little bit more busy. You know, I don't like my charts looking like a Christmas tree, which a lot of traders do. And I don't know why they want to celebrate Christmas every week or every time they look at their charts. But, you know, this is a lot cleaner than most charts. You know, we are at the New York Open. We've just gone 10:49 a.m. So it's a lot busier what's going on there. But we have some really clear picture of what price is doing. So again, we've got the coloring of the bars. I mean, it is so simple looking at a chart like this, knowing who is in control of the price. As soon as your bars are green, the buyers are in control. If your bars are red, your sellers are in control. You've got some really powerful signals on here that are explained in that document on how to work, with this specific chart setup. So it's in there, read through it. It's going to talk about the divergences. It's going to talk about these volume breakout signals. It's going to talk about these brick walls where you're seeing these arrows. And it's going to talk about the RSI and the ATR. All of that is covered beautifully in that document. So I've done this so that it gives you guys an immediate start into working with the system in a very fluid, simple way. You don't have to go and fumble around loading up templates, saving all different things. It is all just here on a plate. So understand the templates, and let me just, whenever I have updated a template, I'm going to just pop it into the folder. So if I go and create a new chart, so let me just duplicate this chart as an example. Okay, I'm going to go to the indicators and I'm going to remove all of these indicators. Okay, and if you go now to the template and you go to load, like right now, I've only got signal chart combo 1, signal chart combo 2. So what I'm going to quickly do is on my other machine, I'm going to go add another template into the archive and then show you how simple it is for you to have that template on your computer. So first of all, I'll prepare it over here. So we'll go to the documents, NinjaTrader 8 folder. Okay, you have got the DTB traders in here. There is that script. Okay, so at any time you have got NinjaTrader 8 open, you can actually click on number 2. So number 2 says update DTB templates and do not launch NinjaTrader 8. So basically we've got NinjaTrader 8 open already. We don't want to relaunch it, but we want to update the templates. So I'm going to go on my other PC now, and I'm going to put a template into the archive. And after I've done that, we're going to run the script and we're going to see if it's updated. So let me just quickly go and do that. Okay, so I've gone and dragged that template into that folder. And it'll just take a second for OneDrive to synchronize that specific update or that specific template, which should be instantaneous. Just give it a few more seconds. So generally, I'm going to alert the Discord channel. I'm going to say, hey guys, there's a brand new template in there for the chart. Check it out. So then you guys open up the script like you just did. Click number 2, press enter. What's going to happen is it's going to update all of your templates in your backend. Okay, it's going to come up with something like that. Maybe sometimes, I don't know. Don't worry about that. It's saying the templates have been successfully updated. Okay, so now once that's done, you can right click on your chart. You can go to templates, load, and there's that third one. You see, we only had 2 in there before. Now there's 3. So I'm going to click on load, and it's put that template on your chart. You've got all the indicators, exactly what I created or what was created. It is there on the chart. Now it could be different size bars, you could, different things, but this is just one of the templates put in there. Again, it's got this this value in here that could be increased. So if I go into the I can't do that right now, but I will go and update that. So when you guys upload this new template, it's going to have larger versions of this, of these triangles and these lines on the page. So I've called this template, if I go back to it, I've called it Spoken Water. So it's basically a combination of a few different indicators, which you didn't have to go and load. So they're already in there. Again, it's just 2 indicators on this specific chart. I may go and add some more and change some of the settings, but we've got an EMA indicator, we've got a trend following indicator with the custom settings that they were created on. I see that the sensitivity of these, so there may be a further little thing to do. The template's definitely going to load the strategies, but it's seeming that some of these settings in here are not transferring. So that is okay. So we're going to go to trend following. We're going to go template. So this is in the indicators. As you can see, we've opened up the indicator list. The 2 indicators that are loaded on the chart are there. We're going to go template and we're going to go load. And we're going to have templates in that folder that are going to have different values. But for right now, I'm going to go to this one here and I'm going to choose 22 as the sensitivity. So if these specific values do not update, I will make sure that I've got a note on the document of what these values are. So I might just have an extra line saying, to adjust, the sensitivity must be this value and the EMA must be this value, whatever that is. So again, I'll make it sure that it is as clear as possible. So this one here is just called smoke and water, and it's basically going to show you it's the trend on the market. So when the bars are white, when they smoke color, price is going up. When they turn blue, the sellers are in control. So buyers and sellers, as we know, the market is just buyers and sellers fighting for supremacy, really. So always look at what's happening on the right side of the chart. That is where, that is where the price is, this is where you're going to be entering your positions. And this is definitely where, you can be entering your manual positions if you're using an ATM. Again, we've got our chart trader. So if you look at your chart trader, you're going to notice that there are some ATMs in there, you see. So as an example, I've created 3 different ATMs in here as templates. There may be more when you do it, but you can even go and create your own ATMs, or if you've got your own already, they will be in this list. But this is just giving you a start if you're new to ATMs, to click on them, and you can also go and edit them. So you can see I clicked in there and I clicked on edit, and it's going to tell me what different targets I have, the stop losses. So there's a whole video that NinjaTrader launched about the ATM feature, how to work with it, how to create different settings. So I've just created some very basic ones over here to be put in the platform. And this way over here, you're able to, if you had to go and enter a position over here, it's going to, enter a position based on what is happening there. I'm not sure if I've got things over there, but it's basically, and now you're able to, an ATM is basically just an order that you're going to put in place. You're able to move your stop and you're able to move your target according to, how you feel. So that is what, the ATM does. And obviously you can move, your stops and your targets based on what you're doing. So you've created your ATM, you've got it in there. I've got a few examples of it there. You can move the stops and targets. So obviously we didn't enter at the perfect spot. We just entered a position for the sake of entering a position. So this is, what we're going to be looking at is we're looking at different chart templates. We're looking at how the market's reacting, and we are first of all looking for opportunities to enter with the trend. So if you look at one of our proper signal charts, so this is one of the ones that we created earlier, you're going to notice over here that we have different levels that have come into play. If you have, sometimes you can just, if you click on the chart like this, click on the F5 to refresh the chart. So that's always just going to update the chart settings, make sure that it all looks right. You've got the indicators loading on the chart. So use the F5 button on your keyboard to refresh the chart. You're also able to go into your data series of your chart and remove the text and markers. So you can see it says, the entries, the stops and the targets and all that. You can actually go in there and just change that to markers only. Okay, so that specific trade that we entered now, it went straight smack bang into a resistance indicator, the level. So if you look at that document, we actually had a brick wall form at that exact level. So that's why it's important to understand exactly what the templates are telling you. That's why these two that I've provided are key templates to look at, because you will not be entering a position long into a very strong support level, which generated over there. Even though the bar just turned green, it actually hit that support level, just like it did previously over here and a few other places. A lot on this chart. We've got strong Fibonacci levels. We've got a 50 hiding behind that setting over there. So that's the hourly 50, the 5 minute 61.8. So we've got strong Fibonacci levels. The price has just come down to another level over here. It's either going to break right through or it's going to bounce up. Interesting enough, we don't have any strong levels, any strong Fibonacci levels between where the price is now all the way to the weekly 61.8. So we've got about 400 tick move that is likely to happen in this space of time over here. So just looking, that's why it's important to read, there it's starting to go. It's had nothing to stop it coming down. We need to make sure that the indicators are there. We've got the indicators in there. Again, I just got to make sure that, that the settings are right. Okay, so the cool thing is, that template that we just loaded, that workspace, it's got all the indicators already loaded on the chart. So you don't have to go and load them all manually and, set that all up. It's all there on the chart. Okay, so those were the two main templates that we actually had set up. And this is going to make it so simple to, start working with the DTB system, to understand what the DTB system is doing, and look at, these templates, because they are an amazing guide to get you started. Now we're going to quickly look at the strategies. So we covered a lot on those. So I'm going to just minimize these right now, and I'm going to open up a new chart, and we'll stick with the NQ. So let's stick with the NQ, and let's go with a actually a 2222 is a good chart to work with, and we're going to work with today's data only. So I'm going to go day, and I'm going to go 0. Okay, so if you load a chart with 0 days like we just did over there, so 0 days and break it end of day on. Okay, so we'll do that, come back into it, always come back into the data series and check that you've got the right settings. So I've loaded a 22 bar, DTB bars 2222 with 0 days. And what that is going to show us is only today's data. Okay. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to reduce that in size a little bit. And we'll look at two very quick strategies with the new technology that I spoke about. So I'm going to just put this chart like this over here. And then I'm going to bring up a new strategy analyzer. So this is one of the really cool things you guys will be able to do with this new strategy. And this guide over here is going to help you work with the automated strategies. This strategy that we're going to work with now is definitely one of the most advanced strategies that exist, on NinjaTrader, just in its simple functionality. But with this added benefits, with these added features, just takes it to an entirely new level. So we're going to just quickly, so I've loaded the strategy analyzer. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to come up. So as you can see, I did it. So we're just going to wait for that to come up. And there it is. Okay, good. So there's the strategy analyzer. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going, let me just increase the size of it, increase the margin on the right. We're going to go optimization. We're going to optimize the analytical strategy 1. Okay. We are going to scroll down and we are going to use a trailing stop and a target ticks. Okay, so let's work with the trailing stop and the target ticks. So I'm going to work with a 30 target on this. Okay, and this is just basically a scalping setup. So this is a scalping setup with a 30 and a 60, and we are going to be using the trailing stop. So this, you got to just click on true over here. Have I created a template for this? Let me just quickly check. I've got quite a few templates in there. I'm actually going to create a template for this very specific one, and it'll be saved in here the next time. But it's also very good to go and set up a strategy optimization yourself first, you know, as a once-off thing, because you're going to be doing it over and over anyway. But it's good to understand how to actually set it up. So we've set up we've done that. We've done the stop ticks and the trailing stop and the target ticks, so 30 and 60. We're going to be using the trading hours. So I'm going to go true and I'm going to go true. And the trading hours we are using, so we're using AM hours first to PM. So we're going to be optimizing data. So because we are trading the US session right now, so the US session has started obviously from 9:30 AM. We're not actually going to be looking at the second time slot. So we're only going to be looking at time slot 1. So we've got trading hours 1 begin, trading hours 1 end. So we're going to look at all the data, let's say from 7 AM all the way up until now. Okay, which is what we can actually go until 3 PM. Because what this is going to do is it's going to optimize the very latest data on the chart right now for today's date. We've got options over here to select specific trading days. So if you look at the clock now, it's Wednesday, the 2nd of March. Okay, so we can actually untick the boxes for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we're only going to be optimizing Wednesday. Thursday, Friday hasn't happened yet, so that's we don't have to worry about them. We are going to be optimizing specifically setting A, setting B, and tick delay. So setting A, we're going to use between 1 and 15. Setting B, we're going to use between 2 and 40. And setting, or the tick delay, which is the last setting, because we are going to be using a 22 bar, we are going to be using 0 as a start, and we're going to go, let's go 66, because it's in increments of the bar size. So we're going to make sure that the tick delay is always increments of the bar size. So going into that right now, we're going to be using first signal. So exactly the default settings as it is over there. We're going to look at the NQ or MNQ, whatever instrument you want to work with. We're going to be selecting the DTB bars, and we're going to select 22. We are optimizing the date from today. So click on today's date, which is Wednesday, and then click on today again, but make this Thursday. Okay. This is going to help. We'll see if that worked perfectly. Sometimes you can put this, sometimes you can put the same day, but we're trying to make sure that we capture up until the very latest price. We're going to include the commission. Always good to, you have to include the commission, otherwise you're not going to get accurate results. And you want to make sure you've included slippage. Slippage at the moment is fairly high, but you're going to find that in normal trading conditions, the slippage is going to be about 3 ticks. So I'm going to go max net profit. Let's actually increase that to, let's increase it to 5. Excuse me. Max net profit. We've got all that, and we can click run. So what's going to happen is that is going to do 2,340 iterations. So this is basically going to work out what has been the very best settings for this strategy with those very specific criteria. What has been the results so far since the beginning of that trading time that we've selected. So we've selected only between 7 a.m. up until now, and those are the specific trades. So nothing crash hot. We've got 10. We've got I've got 10 results. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to run 30 results. Okay, I'm going to run 30 results. It doesn't increase the time that the strategy analyzer takes to run. It just increases the amount of results that it actually gives you. So just let that run again. And this is what we are going to be looking at. Okay, just give it a moment. So we are able to now sort through these results, and we can say, you know, we want to sort this by max drawdown. We only want to look for positions where it's been 100%. Now you might say, you know, you're willing to look at ones with a bit of drawdown because the profit might be a bit higher. You might decide max net profit, sorted by max net profit, and you're willing to take a larger drawdown because the profits are higher. But in this example, we're going to look at max net drawdown. So as soon as we've selected that, it's told us that the system has taken 9 trades with 100% accuracy. We're always going to check the chart tab. Okay, so the chart tab is going to tell us exactly where the price is. Now look at the price on the chart as 11.11. So now we can minimize this chart. Okay, we can go template, save, and we can call this NQ22_22. Okay, like this. Oh, let's just call it Wednesday. So Wednesday the 2nd. Wow. Okay. Okay, so Wednesday 2 March. So we've saved that. Now, immediately what we can do is we can go to our chart. So this, as you can see, you know, the bottom window was the strategy analyzer. The top window is the chart. So we can right click on the chart, go strategies, and we can add the analytical one strategy like this. And we can go template, load, and we're going to load the very optimization that we just created. So we called it NQ2222 Wednesday 2nd of March. Load. Okay, we're going to select the account we're going to trade on. I've got this as my kinetic server, so I'm just going to use one of these accounts. Let's go for test 2. You can enable the strategy, click on apply, and OK. So the very first thing you want to look for is, are the trades matching in the chart tab of the strategy analyzer? Are they matching to the chart, the actual trading chart? So as soon as you can see that match, you can click on start. Okay, so click on start, and what you can also do to confirm the details, you can click on this crosshair button. This crosshair button has got a few different options. If you click on global, and you click on global on your bottom chart as well. Okay, what that will do is now you can go on your trading chart and you can scroll back and you can compare all the entries to the strategy analyzer. So this is what this is doing, is it's basically produced a scalp. This is a scalping strategy where it's got a trailing stop and it's hitting a target. Now this has only entered 9 trades between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. with 100% accuracy. So the idea behind this right now is to have the strategy analyzer in one window like this. It also helps to have more screens. I mean, I'm doing this on one little screen. It's good to have this on 2 separate screens. It just makes it so much simple to work with. But because we've got the one screen, I'm going to just try and make it as simple as possible. You can see I'm just dragging some, things just to make things line up a little bit. I'm going to deactivate this global crosshair and do the same on the bottom chart. Make it local. Excuse me. So what we're doing now is we're waiting for the strategy to enter its next position. So we've clicked start. So whenever you load a strategy, you click the button on the chart. So if you look at the chart itself, you're going to notice it's got buttons on it. It's got a start button. It's got a pause button. If you click the pause button, it won't enter any more positions. If you click the start button, it's ready for its next position. You're going to see there's called a setting A, a setting B. This one that's hidden a little bit over here, if you move the slider, it's got trade size. So that is the amount of contracts that this strategy will enter once a position comes up. Okay, so what we're doing now is we have got a setting over here where we are hoping to continue the profitability of this strategy. So the good thing too now is you are able to run the strategy analyzer at any time during the session. You know, at any time you want, you can actually run this strategy analyzer, and you could choose any of the results in the list that comes up. So because this strategy is not going to be entering positions, like a lot of positions right now, we're going to be just adjusting the settings so that we can find a setting that has got more trades. So this one over here with the drawdown, I'm going to select that just so we can actually see the strategy in action on how it takes positions. So notice how this strategy has entered 72 trades with a 75% profitability and a 2,800 profit. The settings, if you scroll over the parameters, it says setting, it says trend 329 122. So notice those settings. 3, setting A 3, setting B 29, trade size as 1, tick delay as 22. Okay, so those are the 4 settings we're looking at. Trade size, we know we've got 1, so there's only really 3 settings that we've got to look at. So 3, 29, 22. So if you look at the top chart right now, okay, you're going to notice that the settings are 12, 29, 1, and 50. So if you right click on the chart and you go to strategies, you're going to see in the strategy settings, you have got 12, 29, and 50. Those are the settings right now of the strategy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and adjust those specific settings. So we've got 3, 29, 22. So we're going to move the slider to 3. Okay. And we're going to make this as 29, which it is already. 3, 29, 22. And the tick delay, we're going to make this as 22. Now you want to try and do this as quick as possible. So there we go. So we've converted it to 3, 29, 22. So I've just increased the size of the chart. I'm going to right click on the chart, go to the strategies, the settings, and you're going to notice now that those settings have updated in the strategy. So 3, 29, 22. Those have actually updated. Okay. Now I have realized something while I was doing these settings. Okay. So first of all, when you change the sliders, it's not going to update the chart itself. So the chart is still going to reflect the previous settings. However, the strategy is going to enter a position based on the latest settings that you have set in the chart. So if you run the strategy analyzer and you've got those settings in there, those are the ones that are going to reflect on the strategy analyzer when those positions are entered. So it'll take a while to understand what exactly is going on behind the scenes. but that is what you are going to see. Now, I have noticed that there was one little setting over here that I didn't do perfectly well, which we will actually fix right now on the optimization. Okay, so I noticed that my tick delay, I put there between 0 and 66 in increments of 22. So that is fine. That is fine. And the figures over there, so that is all good. So 329.22, the settings are still there. So if you adjust these sliders, so we've done 329, 122, you can still go and click this green button. Now, like we've seen, the settings on the back end have already been adjusted. So you can still go click on them, it'll update it in the tab, but the actual trades that the strategy is going to enter are now going to reflect on the strategy analyzer. So again, I'm going to just run this, and I've got the wrong chart over here. So the buttons, this is also why it is so helpful to have the buttons on the chart, because the chart itself says account sim test 2. So we're able to go into the control panel and choose the specific account that is linked with this strategy. So because we activated the strategy after that bar had formed, it hasn't entered into a new position. If at any stage you want to update your chart, the top chart, while the strategy is not in a position, you could click the F5 button. It'll quickly refresh the chart, and then you press start again. That way, what will happen is it's going to refresh the top chart to match the bottom chart. Now, you only want to do that if you're not in a position. Otherwise, you wait until the next position has closed, and then you can refresh the chart. But like I said, it's not necessary. It's not necessary to refresh the chart for those settings to be active. So this strategy that we're looking at now is a really good beginner strategy for people to work on. You can use it on any instrument. You could even start with MNQ to begin with. You are chasing a very small target. You got a very small stop. You're looking at, I think it's like a $15 target and a $30 stop, worst case scenario. Remember, it's a trailing stop. So, you're looking at very, very low capital requirements to run a strategy like this, and very simple to work. So you're running your strategy analyzer, and all you are doing is you are scrolling on your chart. So again, if you've got this on a full screen, which is really handy, you can scroll down to where it says setting A, setting B, and tick delay. The numbers that are in the brackets are the ones that are going to actually be used in the strategy. So if you got a small screen, like there was the trade that entered. Now remember, we actually used a setting that had a high drawdown. Okay, so I'm going to run this again, okay, and see what comes up. So 329.22. Okay, so look at those settings. Now, what we want to do is we want to confirm on the strategy analyzer that specific trade that just entered there is definitely matching the strategy analyzer. Okay, so the last position exited over there. So again, if I use my global crosshairs, we are able to look at the so there we go. There's the strategy, the last trade. This was the last position. You can see over there exactly where it said the trade entered. It entered on the strategy analyzer. Okay, so we have got the exact same settings. So I'm going to run that again. Always make sure that your chart is matching your strategy analyzer. So if this is a lot of information to take in, it does get a lot simpler the more you work with the strategies. And if you rewatch this section specifically regarding this strategy, you're going to see, just with a little bit of practice, you're actually going to understand very, clearly how this thing works. So there it's showing. So the top chart is our trading chart. The bottom chart is our strategy analyzer. So it is still picking up that these specific settings are the highest returners so far, with a 74% accuracy, 74 trades, 900 drawdown, 2,300 profit. Okay, so the last trade that was entered was actually a loss, as we saw in real time. And what you're going to notice too is we've actually incorporated the slippage. So if you look at your strategy analyzer, it is vitally, vitally, vitally important to add in your slippage, because if you don't add slippage, the trades are going to show on the beginning of the bar instead of the slippage. And that is going to give you a very, very false result. And unfortunately, a lot of vendors, a lot of people use that as a tool to show how amazing their strategies are, but they have not included slippage or commission, and it's just criminal, actually. So if you're ever looking at a strategy analyzer result, if you're ever looking at any strategy result, if you are not seeing the commission, first of all, over there, if you are not seeing commission and you are not seeing slippage, that is going to vastly, vastly, vastly change the outcome of these trades. Okay, so that's why it is vitally important to always include your slippage, always include your commission, because you want to show a true reflection of what the strategy is actually doing in real time. You want to make sure that your strategy analyzer is matching your trading chart in real time. If it's not matching, then you're absolutely wasting your time running an automated strategy with a strategy analyzer. There's only one way to test a strategy through NinjaTrader, and that is using the strategy analyzer. There's no other way of being able to back test and test a strategy's performance, based on the most current data, which we are doing right now, historically, without the strategy analyzer. I mean, that's literally the only way of working. So as soon as you are putting in false settings into the strategy analyzer, you're going to get false results. So by adding in your slippage, by adding in your commission, you are nullifying that variance that could occur. So again, it's still coming up with these settings. As you can see, the bars, the coloring is matching exactly according to the chart. So we know that the settings that we have used over here is matching our top chart completely. And you can keep running your optimizer. So when you run the strategy analyzer, it's going to cut it off up until the second that you clicked on run. So let's see if the strategy enters a position over here, which it may do. It doesn't always enter on the change of colors. It's got a lot of factors in the background. Remember, we're working off a strategy here with the high drawdown. If you chose one with less, there's a lot here that have got less trades. I was just really trying to get strategies that were entering positions right as we were doing this video. I don't want to sit here for hours and sift through all these results. You can definitely go and do this. If you are taking trading serious as a business, you want to be selecting settings that are going to give you the highest probability of success. And all you need is 2 or 3 trades to go your way, and you are done for the trading day. And you have used a tool that is giving you the highest probability of success. Instead of just trying to wing it, you're trying to just find signals. You are using a tried and tested way of testing a strategy's effectiveness, and you are finding the highest percentage profitable. You are finding the highest probability that your trades are going to be successful. Now, it doesn't always mean that you're guaranteed to have your next trades as successful if you have chosen, a perfect 100% strategy. It's just that your chances of success are so much higher than if you didn't. And that's the whole aim with this. The whole aim with this is to have a few hours of time, like we've done over here. So what we've done is, we've only optimized the last few hours of data. We are finding the heartbeat of the market right now. What is the market doing right now? What positions have entered in the very last few hours that have been successful, and what results have they got, so that we can hopefully carry on with those settings a little bit further into the session, and we could enter our 2 or 3 trades and be out the market. So there was a position. It entered a trade. So if I right click on the chart, strategy performance, and I go real time, it's going to bring up those 2 trades. Remember, we had 1 losing trade and 1 winning trade. So our first trade lost 304. Our second trade made 145. Now remember, we do have a very high drawdown strategy. Now, the important thing to do is, after a position has exited, we want to make sure that we are still running on the most up-to-date settings that the strategy analyzer is giving us. So we are running the analyzer again. And what we want to make sure now is that this position that just entered, is it matching what the strategy analyzer would have entered? Is it matching the exact signal of the strategy? So this is how we're able to make sure that a strategy is working properly as it should. And there it did. So if you look at the bottom chart, there is our, I'm going to activate the global crosshairs again. Over here, you're going to notice that where this trade entered over there is exactly where the strategy analyzer put that position with its target and its stop. So now we can either continue with these settings because they're still showing as the top setting, or we can go choose any one of these other settings that we want to use. That's why, you might decide, you're not prepared to take a $900 drawdown. You're not prepared to have a high risk strategy. You rather want to have a strategy that takes fewer trades and hits its targets, got a higher percentage of hitting its targets. So like this one here, excuse me, here's the next trade on this strategy. And this one over here, we'll watch what it's doing. While it's running, you can even run your strategy analyzer, you see? Oh, I mustn't move the chart while that is doing. So let me just put this back onto local and go back to the end. There we go. Okay, so this one looks like, it came very, very close to its stop, but let's see what the analyzer is telling us. Okay, so this one says the exact same trade that entered, it's exactly matching to the strategy analyzer. Remember, we've got a very high frequency trading system over here with a high drawdown. So this is not necessarily something that you would select, but I'm specifically choosing this strategy because of the amount of trades that it is entering to show you that this specific way is extremely accurate in monitoring a strategy. So right now, obviously that strategy was not the best one to choose unless you are prepared for a much larger drawdown. You may decide to go switch to a different setting, or you may have initially started with a different setting, and it'll just mean fewer trades. So again, our strategy is matching our chart of where of the stop that was entered by that strategy. Excuse me. Okay, so we've run the strategy analyzer again. We can now sift through our settings and we can say, okay, fine, let's look for another strategy that's maybe entering fewer trades, but has a lower drawdown, we can sift through those and we can go choose one of those. So obviously that's going higher and higher and higher. Now, while you are deciding what you want to do, you can go and click the pause button. So when you click the pause button on your top chart, it's not going to enter any more trades at all, like 0 trades. Only once you have run your optimization and you have chosen your next setting. So you might say, I'm going to give this specific strategy a go. It's got an 85% accuracy rate. It's only got 300 drawdown, made 1,400 over the last few hours. The setting is 936.66. Okay, so 936.66. So you go and move the slider to 9. Okay, make sure you put it on the number. So 9, again, we're working on one small little screen, so it makes it a little bit tricky. So 936 and 66 tick delay. Okay, so this one, it only goes up to 50. So there is a setting in here. We maybe should not have used this large bar. Let's just go for a setting over here of a 44 as the highest to go to. So I'm going to run the optimization again. Really designed for, I have got some strategies where I've increased the size of the tick delay box, which the drag or the slider will be able to accompany more, and that's on the other strategies. But let's have a look at what this one produces over here with the results. Okay, so we have got now let's see, let's look through these. There we go. So let's take this one here, 823.0. So you can see the settings there, 823.0. So we come to our sliders, we go and move it to 8, and we take this to 23, and we make the tick delay as 0, and then we can start the strategy. So what will happen is it will start acting now on the next signal of that strategy. So as we've seen before, the strategy is already updated in the back end, 823.0. It's now going to act on that. So we can now run it. Now, because we're not in a position, we can actually refresh the chart if we want to. But I'm actually not going to do that because I want to compare the strategy analyzer to the positions that the strategy actually takes and compare it, not according to what color the bars are, but where the trade actually entered. Remember, we've got the 823.0 setting. So that one was a little bit down. We might be able to sort this a little bit, which we did over there, 823.0. Okay, so this one has not entered a trade for a while. It's also good to look at the chart tab while you are scrolling through these settings to see which strategy has entered a trade, or is likely to enter a trade soon, and then actually adjust it from there. Very hard to do this in real time, with you guys, but I'm trying to get this on this video without delaying and without having to edit it and pause and rewind and all that. I'm just trying to show you the effectiveness of the strategy taking positions, which I have done already. Now I'm just trying to do one thing, but if we run out of time or it takes too long, we might not be able to show it on this exact video. And I don't want to go spend hours editing and forwarding and rewinding and doing all of that. So let's just see if we can get a position on here. But we'll definitely do this on a live session together over 4 or 5 hours, and all questions can be asked during the session while we're on Discord. I can share my screen on Discord. We can actually go through optimizations. We can go through all the different nuances of the strategies and answer anything that comes through. But at least with this guide that I've just done now, it will give you a really good head start in being able to do this effectively yourself. So let's just see 823. 0. I'm going to run the strategy analyzer again. I'm hoping that this enters a position in a moment. If this bar turns red and there's a brick wall, it should enter a position to the downside. So at any time, you are able to now go and change these specific hours that you are optimizing. So we chose here between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. You could say, you know what, I want to only look now from 10 a.m. I want to go from 10 a.m. So let's do that. I want to go from 10 a.m. up until now. I only want to see what settings have worked since 10 a.m. And that's obviously going to, what that's going to do if I increase this chart is it's going to give us the chart on the analyzer, and it's only going to show us the strategy positions from 10 a.m. onwards. So if I scroll back, you will see that there's no trades before 10 a.m. because the strategy is only programmed to start trading from 10 a.m. So look at these results over here. So again, you're looking at this, you can say, I'm going to look at, any of these trades, and I'm going to select those. So like, there we go. So let's go for this one here as an interest sake. So 4/10/44. So what you have to do now, unfortunately, because you've changed the time, you can actually go template save and go and choose or go and save it as whatever you want. But for simplicity's sakes, we're just going to overwrite the strategy that we created earlier, which is this one over here. Save, yes. We are going to obviously pause the strategy first, go into the strategy settings. So this is the only time you would go into the settings itself to disable it, because we haven't got a slider for the time, you see. So all you do is you disable the strategy, go template, load. You're going to load up the brand new one we just created. You're going to go enable, apply, and OK, and start. Now, what's going to happen is that is immediately going to act on the next signal. Now, we just missed it by a few seconds. Can you see that trade that just entered over there? So if I go and run this optimization right now, that trade must reflect in my analyzer. And as you can see, the strategy analyzer only takes about, it takes 20 to 30 seconds maximum to run. So we had a 4/10/44. So if we go and scroll through the parameters and we find that exact setting that we used, okay, 4/10/44, it's this one over here. That's the exact optimization we used. And you notice there's the trade. It might be difficult to read on the chart, but as you can see, there is the exact trade that the strategy took in real time, and it's matching up the analyzer. Okay, so now what about different size charts? What if you want to use a different chart? So you can, if you want to use the same chart or the same type of chart, you can go to the NQ over here. You can right click on it and you can go duplicate in new tab, and you can say, I want to go, so right click on the chart itself, go to data series and go select a 10 and a 10 bar chart. Okay, so that's 10/10. The same thing at the bottom, you right click on the analyzer, go duplicate in new tab. It's going to say, do you want to run it again? Unfortunately, you do have to run it again. Okay, you can click on abort. Okay, so what you can do now is all you have to go do is go and change your bar size on your analyzer, because we're analyzing the new bar size. So we're still looking at the same time, 10 a.m. and we can look at the stops and the targets. So we can say, well, because we've got a smaller bar size, let's use let's keep it 30/60. That's fine. So 30/60, and we're going to use the same A and B settings. The only thing we're going to adjust now is the bar size, so 10 and 10, but we're also going to adjust the tick delay because the tick delay has to be in increments of the bar size. So we're going to go between 0 and we can go 0 and 30 in increments of 10. So it's going to calculate 0, 10, 20, 30 because it's got increments of 10. And we can run that, you see. So what we have in effect done now is we have got two different windows open over here. Okay, we've got our first strategy over here. Okay, that's got our settings to trade, long and short entries. But we're also looking at a separate chart over here to say, well, is there anything different on a smaller bar size, or is there anything different on a different bar size that looks better? Maybe a different bar size has got better results in the strategy analyzer. So we're also not cramping up too much because all we're doing is creating a different tab. So, and we're also not complicating things too much either, because there's only a few, very few little things we had to change. So all we had to do was change the bar size on the top chart and change the bar size on the bottom chart and the tick delay to match the bar size. I am actually going to spend another video doing this in detail, but this one actually might suffice to explain this whole process. So we may actually just do that. This one over here, again, if you're clicking on the first analyzer, make sure you're clicking on the first tab to show you that specific chart. So there we still got the same thing. We have got no more trades yet. We can still go run this optimization to see what's going on. We can switch to our second optimization, see what's going on over there. Switch to our second chart. And all we're doing here is we are optimizing to see if there are better results on a different bar size. So this is almost done with this specific optimization. Okay, so this one is telling us that you can see there's a lot more trades, there's a higher drawdown. Some of them are not too bad. There's a 14. There's some over there with. We'll switch to chart tab again. Again, any single one of these optimizations are valid because we are, we're comparing them to the analyzer. You can go and scroll through here and you can choose and look at these and say, well, is this better than what you have at the moment? Does this look better than what you have? So, you can basically sift through results and choose another one. Another thing you can see, I clicked on, this is the control center on top here. So I clicked on the strategies tab and that'll just tell me if there's any position open on that strategy, on that first one. You see, no position. So no position open, nothing happening. So now we're looking at this chart and we're looking at the results and we'll say, well, is it worth it to switch over or to create a strategy on here? And for interest sakes, we can choose one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my first chart. I'm going to pause the strategy that we got over there. And I'm going to come to the 10-10 chart. Now notice I'm going to use this one here, even though it hasn't got fantastic, it's still got a high drawdown and percentage. I just want to show you what the process is again of using this specific setting on your new chart. So we've chosen this one. We've selected this specific strategy. Okay. So it's got 14, 23, 10 as the settings. So you need to select the one that you want to use. Go to template, save, and you can go to your previous template that you created, but make sure you change this to 10, because now obviously you're working on a 10 bar and a 10, 10. And then you can save it. Top chart, go strategies. You're loading your analytical 1 strategy, and you're going template, load, and you are finding that one that you just created, which says 10, 10 over there, and you're going and you're clicking on the same account, obviously your live account or whatever account you are working on. You're clicking on that and you are looking at the results. Now, notice how something is not lining up perfectly on this chart. Notice how the top chart says minus 4,000, minus 2,000. That is not matching the bottom chart. Okay, so this is good. This is very good because it gives us the chance to go and check what's going on. So we're going to data series and we're seeing, okay, so we've got 0 days. That's all fine. We're coming to the right over here. What has gone out of whack? What has gone out of whack? So we're looking at this chart again. We're looking at all the settings, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We choose the specific days. We're looking at the targets, the stops, the A settings, the B settings, and all of that. And that all looks right. So I'm going to run this again, and just to be safe and just check what is going on over there. I'll go back to the data series and I'll check the details over here. So we've got a 10, 10 with 0 days. We'll make that markers only, so it only shows the text. So it doesn't show the text, it just shows the lines. Now remember, we activated the strategy, but we've still got it on pause. It's not going to take any trades. We want to make sure that these values at the bottom are actually matching the chart. Otherwise, we are, we might activate something that's out of whack and it's just not going to be effective. So we're going to find out why these are looking different. And go to the strategies. Okay, so we'll let this analyzer run. This one is still, we left this one in limbo because we actually paused it. Remember, we paused this one to come to the second one over here. So we'll let this analyzer run. And we can just look at some of the things on here to see why this is looking out of whack. I right click on the chart to look at the entry time, exit times. I just want to see, what it looks like. So it's definitely entering trades from 10 a.m., which is fine. 10 a.m. up until 11:45. Okay, that's fine. So let's look through here again. 14:23. I want to have a look at that specific one. It could have just been a slight hiccup. So 14:23, 10. Okay, so strategies. This is one of the other times where I will go and deactivate it just to see if that makes any difference to the settings on here. 14:23, 10. Okay, so something's a little bit out of whack with that one. So we're actually going to choose another value. So 14, 14, 20. So 14 and 14. Okay, and a 20 on here. So I am going to be adding on a keyboard shortcut with the arrow buttons to be able to activate that. So once I've done this, I'm going to refresh this chart. Okay, so if you look at there, 545, 70% accuracy, the charts looking very similar. Sometimes they might be very, very slightly out of sync because of slippage. Sometimes the slippage might not be 100% effective inside the optimizer. It gets it mostly right, but sometimes it can just be a few ticks out, which is also why it's important to have that leeway in your slippage values. But we'll run this again one more time, just to make sure that it's updating according to the latest settings. I can refresh this top chart, which will be good to do. And there's the strategy. So I'm going to activate that 14, 14, 20, which came up there. Again, immediately the strategy goes into a pause mode. So that is really going to get it's waiting for you to activate. It's waiting for you to press the green button, but you only want to press the green button once you have gone and specifically checked that the trades are lining up on both of the charts. Okay, so this is taking a bit longer now because you're doing a smaller bar size. It's got to sift through a lot more data, so the optimization is taking a bit longer. So that's why it's good to work with the 2022 bar, a 2020 bar, maybe even a 15 or a 16 bar. Good one to work with, and that will just help speed up the optimizations as well. It's like this almost took 2 minutes to run. So a little bit longer than what we want. I'm going to specifically look at this one over here at the 1414. Okay, 50 trades. If I go strategy performance and I go real time and historical, we're looking at a trade. This one entered 51 trades. So sometimes they're going to be slightly out of whack, especially when you got a smaller bar size. But notice how the bar formation on this one, if I look at this, so global, and I go global over here, notice how the bar formation is matching on the chart. So I'm confident that these settings that I've selected right now is matching. So you can look at previous trades too. So look at the previous trades. You can see, are they matching according to what the optimizer has said? And you can see they actually are. So that is good. So I'm going to just go ahead with this one. We've only got this strategy running. Remember, we press pause on this one over here. So it's not going to do anything at all. We've got this strategy running on those very specific settings, and we're going to see if a trade enters. Now, unfortunately, the bottom chart is not going to update, and it's going to stop processing the bars up until we ran the optimization. So you can still feel free to run the optimization in the back end while the top chart is actually still running, just to see if there's any better settings, better settings for your strategy, so that you can use those instead. So this bar size, like a 1010, is ideal to use for the Asian session where the price is moving a lot slower. For the US session, there's a lot more price movement. It's probably not the ideal bar. Again, I'm just showing you guys, how the strategies work, how you activate them, what to look out for. And, using these bars, using a smaller bar is definitely going to speed that process up. So you can see what is happening on the charts, what the optimizations look like, and all of that. So while that is running, there is this script that we've got over here. We have got different things you can do. So when you want to start NinjaTrader in the morning after you've closed off trading for the day, you can actually press the number 4. So you can launch the script and press number 4. So number 4 is going to update all the templates in the archive. It's going to clean out all the unnecessary hoarded files of NinjaTrader, and it's going to launch NinjaTrader in a high priority state. So that is what you can run every day when you start your trading platform, and that's going to ensure that your data is not going to be corrupted. It's always going to make sure that you've got fresh data coming to your platform, and any previous data that could impact your strategies will not happen, because you've actually cleaned it out. So again, we're looking at this, it's matching. Notice how the time over here is stopped at 11:58. Is that when I ran it? Yes, it was 2 minutes ago. So no new trades yet. I'm hoping to get one more trade in, so we can look, we can finish off with this video. And actually, you know, because I've got timestamps in this video and people can jump ahead, I'm actually going to cover one more strategy, because that is going to give you guys the option of doing manual trading like we discussed on the first templates. This is a strategy to do automated trading, which is absolutely phenomenal with this strategy and produces incredible results. And the third one is going to be a strategy that requires more capital to run, but it is still a very, very highly effective strategy. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to duplicate this in a new tab. Okay. And I'm going to make this a 5-minute chart. Okay. So a 5-minute chart, and we are going, I'm going to monitor this top window here so I can see if any positions open on that bottom chart. But this next strategy that we are going to be working on is going to be a strategy that is encompassing the trending baseline. So some of you have worked on the Modena WickTrader trending baseline. This one here is designed specifically for the minute charts. So just loading this specific strategy, okay, the DTB Modena WickTrader trending baseline strategy, going to your template, load, and you can load your default settings. So I'm selecting MNQ, 5-minute, 15 retrace. So this is just default settings. I'm loading this, okay? Did I click on load? So template load. I'm going to load this one up. Okay. I'm going to click on OK. Now notice it was MNQ. So I got to switch to MNQ on this specific chart. So we'll let that happen. And we will go back into the strategy settings. We will look, you could even go straight back into loading that template again. Just to be safe, you got the right thing. We can select the same account that we're supposed to be trading on, and we're going to go enable, apply, and OK. So what this strategy is going to do is it's going to enter trades on retracement of the price. So let's have a look. So I'm just so I've loaded the strategy. As you can see, it's just busy loading in the back end. Everything's been activated, so we're just waiting for it to show up on the chart. Okay, so it's taking a lot longer than it normally would, but sometimes that can definitely happen. Okay, so I'm just going to right click on the chart again, go back to the strategies and make sure that it's definitely there and will pop up. So what is it that, there we go, it's back there. So what this is going to do is it's going to enter positions. So again, I'm going to just use the slider, the trade size. So I'm going to press start. on the strategy. Okay, now what's going to happen is this strategy is going to act on a 15 retracement. It's going to delay the first trade by 20 ticks. It's going to have a minimum distance of 20 ticks from the start of the candle before it enters a position. It's going to have a target of 40 ticks. It's going to have a stop of 200 ticks. And it's going to enter 10 entries in total of one trade size each. Now, the good thing about this, or the cool thing about this strategy too, is you can go and adjust any of these sliders to choose different target ticks, different stop ticks, different delay of the first trade. You can select how many entries you want to enter. You can choose how far you want price to go. So notice on the chart, you are going to see this line over here and this line over here. Those two grayish lines, those two gray lines are the minimum and maximum markers of the price. Okay, so what will happen is trades will only enter between the minimum distance and the maximum distance. So between here and here is between 20 and 180 ticks. Only in this very specific area are the trades going to enter. And they all going to have a combined stop of 40 ticks and a target of 200 ticks. So you can go and adjust this distance. So you notice if I go and drag, you see as I drag the maximum distance, you can see the line getting further. That is updating in real time in the strategy settings too. So this is a way of determining how far you want trades to enter. You can also say the delay. So the delay first trade, notice that small little, that thin line that's moving. That is saying that you only want the first trade to enter past that specific level. So that is something that we have. You also have the option over here. So you can say, we'll leave it at 17, it's fine. You can say minimum distance. You want the first trade to enter when the price has moved 104 ticks away from the start of the candle. So, I mean, these are settings that are adjusting in real time. Okay. And that is going to affect the strategy. And you can also choose whether you want to take long positions, short positions only. So if you only want the strategy to enter long positions, or you only want the strategy to enter short positions, those buttons can actually be checked. And again, you know, the targets, the stops, all of these things can actually be adjusted. Now notice this little red line that's showing on the chart, that is the stop ticks. So if you go and move the stop ticks, that red line is going to move. And that is how many ticks away from the current price will the order enter its stop price. So that is where it's going to put the stop if a trade enters. So you always want to put the stop beyond the maximum marker, because trades are going to enter between the minimum marker and the maximum marker, but their stop is going to be where the red line is. So that is a something to look out for. I just want to see, so data series, okay, so there is a first trade that has entered. Now we have got a trade entered on that side of the wick. I've noticed that the minimum maximum markers are on the wrong side of this candle. I've got to just investigate that a little bit further, but it's still going to have the exact same sequence of how that works between the minimum and maximum marker, and it's going to have the target as 25 ticks. So this one's going to enter a total of 10 entries. So we're going to just watch what this one does. Now we did switch over to the strategy in the middle of a bar. We're using it on the same chart as other strategies, so we just got to review them. But this is going to just show you what the strategy actually does. And at any time, you can actually click the pause button and any open positions will exit on the strategy. So right now it's in 4 positions short, and the target is over here and the stop is over there. So you're going to notice depending on the opening and the closing of the previous candle, that's going to determine where those trades are going to enter. So now we're up to 5 positions on this specific strategy. It is entering positions. Those markers are just currently on the other side of the candle. So now we're up to 10 positions. So we're up to 10 positions of this specific strategy. It's not going to enter any more positions right now because we are at the maximum amount of entries for this position. If we had to go and increase the range of this, it will continue entering positions. If you've got 20 entries as an example, like we've got over there, but you on 13 and I say, well, I'm not prepared to enter any more entries, you can actually drag that all the way down to 1 and it will stop entering at 13. It's not going to enter any more positions at that time. So you would only really run multiple positions like this if you had an account of, you know, at least $5,000 to $10,000, where you'll be running 10 positions like this. You can afford to go to $500-600 maybe in the drawdown, because you know that you're able to, the strategy is designed to hit profit targets very actively and recoup a lot of drawdown very easily. So as you can see over there, if I right click on the chart, I go strategy performance and I go real time, it's going to show that it entered 13 trades, 76% profitable, and it made $234. So if you look at the trades themselves, they're all going to show profit target. Now remember, with futures trading, it's first in, first out. So the first trade that entered, it hit its profit target. So it's telling us that between 12:09 p.m. and 12:12, so it's only 3 minutes of time, it entered those positions and ended with that value. Right now, the strategy is only in 1 position because I dragged the max entries all the way down to 1. So if I want the strategy to enter more positions, I can actually drag the slider to go to more positions. And now it will enter a maximum of 6 positions. If I wanted to enter positions coming down, so there it's entered the second position and it's entering, the trade. So if I same thing over here, I can say, well, I'm only prepared to go, it's got 2 positions. So I'm prepared not to take any more positions. So I'm going to drag this down to 1 and it will not enter any more positions until those have either hit their stop or their target. Now, when the next candle forms, it's going to create a new baseline, a new section of the candle where the stops and the targets are going to be located at. So because we are on this candle, what's going to happen is the stops and targets will stay exactly where they are. If we, however, have more entries, the next entries will move the stops and the targets to where the price is according to the target ticks and the stop ticks. So if another entry enters, if we increase the entries, the next trade will have a 40 target and a 212 stop, and all of those positions will move according to that combined 40 target and 212 stop. So that's how this strategy works. Now, let's go back over here and just see what has happened. So we've got, this was the 10-10 strategy. So it looks like we had a position over there. Okay, so we did actually have a position on this strategy on the NQ. So while we were looking at the other strategy, we had this position run. So if I go strategy performance and I go real time, there is that trade that it entered. See, so it entered one position, one short position for $145. Now, for a lot of people with a $2,000 or $3,000 account, they'll be very happy earning $145 off that one trade. And for most people, that's all they want to do. They want to make $100 a day, and they want to find the best way of being able to make that $100. And that's basically what this idea is, of having the strategy analyzer, finding the best possible settings. Like we chose that specific one there with 1414, which had a low drawdown, but still a very decent decent income on it, or a decent return. So this one here is still on the the same setting, the 1414. So if the price breaks through this brick wall over here, it's more than likely going to enter a trade going long. So if we do not want another trade, we can pause the strategy, or we can wait for the analyzer to finish and adjust any setting that we want. If you rather want to wait for the strategy analyzer to give you results, then you can pause the strategy, and you can always reactivate it after you have got results from the strategy analyzer. So that's a very good hint to do too, especially if you really want to make sure you got the absolute highest probability of success. It's rather to be safe than sorry, pausing your strategy to make sure that you still have the right settings in play, so that you have got the best opportunity or the best possibility of having winning positions. So we'll run this last analyzer once. So this is the one that just entered, and what we're trying to do here is we want to make sure that this trade that entered did actually happen on the chart, which would no doubt will. And then we will quickly look at the next chart for the next strategy, and then we will go and we'll move on from there. Okay, so this one is just about finished. Okay, and we're looking for that 1414 setting that we selected earlier, which is over there. And there's that position. The exact same trade is exactly where it should be. Looks slightly off with its marking. So this is sometimes what the strategy analyzer does. It put the target like over there. I mean, the price didn't even go 100% over there, you see. So the price actually, if you look at the trading chart, the strategy actually exited its position over here on this bar. And all that happened was the strategy analyzer didn't take it far enough, and it still exited at the same price, but just on a different bar. You see that? It just looks like it, but it's still the exact same price. And sometimes that's why you get small little variances in the drawdown and the net profits and the percentage, very, very small differences, because the analyzer doesn't always plot these trades exactly correctly. But most of the time it does. So that's why it's important to flush out your data. So this could just be a data corruption issue, just by not showing 100%. It could be just a time, if you finish trading for the day, close your NinjaTrader. The next time you open it, flush out your data using option 4 on the script. And in this way, it'll make sure that you've got no corrupted data on your platform. Okay, so we're still in 2 positions on this specific trade over here. So if I go and increase the size of this again, we're looking at this. As soon as this trade exits positions, on the left-hand bottom corner, it's going to tell you the results of that strategy. So we saw earlier, if we go into strategy performance, we went to real time. It's 234 with a 26 drawdown. That's exactly what the figures at the bottom say. So over here, because we are on this one entry, I'm going to increase the max entries over here. And we're going to see what the strategy does at this specific time. Okay, so let's have a look. You can right click on the chart. If you notice that the price is jumping around a bit like this, the chart jumping around, you can right click on the chart, go to your data series and go center price on scale. And that way it's going to put the price in the middle of the chart and it's not going to jump around and do anything. So there's our strategy in action. We can go and, increase the size. You can drag your mouse on the bottom sliders over here, on these sliders over here. Because you got center price and scale, it's always going to be in the middle and like that. So notice now how the price is coming slightly down. Again, at any stage we can say, okay, we're done with these trades. We can press pause. Now it's only going to enter when it's between those minimum and maximum markers. So there was a slight little, I don't know, it could have just been a slight data glitch earlier where those markers were on the wrong side of the candle. That could just sometimes happen, but you're going to find that 90% of the time those markers are going to show exactly where those trades are executing. So sometimes the markers were just out of whack. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Just look at what the strategy is doing, how it's entering positions, and then manage your positions with your targets, with your stops, your retracement values, and all of those, because they're going to be what is going to make you very profitable with this strategy. Okay, so I think we can exit over here. I think we can, so I will just show you on this strategy. So if you go and click the pause button now, it's going to exit those positions. So not going to enter any more trades. So right now, okay, we've got this one. We can click pause. It will just make sure it doesn't enter any more trades. We basically, this one's already on pause. You can now go and minimize your thing. You can go to your workspace and you can say, I want to save this workspace. You can go save as, and you can go DTB video, new updates, and you can go the 2nd of March. So, you can just save that as your template, because, this is one we worked on the call. You had the opportunity now to go and create all of these charts. You have the opportunity to go and load all of those templates. You've got, if you minimize these windows, you've got those charts that we created earlier, or the templates that we loaded. You worked on them. There's been some really helpful information in this video to get you really understanding of how these charts work. Obviously, we didn't go into the finer details of exactly what to look for on these charts. That's up to you to go through on those documents that are prepared for you. So please go and do that. You're going to find them to be extremely helpful. Let's find the other chart, which is this one over here. Again, you can refresh. If you can, refresh the chart randomly just to make sure that all the data and everything is up to date, especially on your signal charts. You can do that. You can resize these windows slightly if you want. If you want to just resize these windows to see more of the chart, you can go to your data series like we discussed earlier, center the price on scale. There's a few things you could do just to make it look more appealing to your own specific views, how you want the chart to look, how you want to see the price, how zoomed in you want to be, how zoomed out you want to be. It's all preferences that you can do. You can even take this setting that I've got here, you can add your own indicator. You might have another indicator, or you might decide to take one of these indicators off. And then once you've done that, you can right click on the chart, you can go templates, you can go save as, and you can say, okay, well, this was the template that Jason created, the combo. I think this was combo 1 or 2. This was combo 2, and then you can take the DTB away and say, I'm Jason, so I'm going to put there, Jason, because I want to keep this. I want to keep this template because I've added on something that I wanted to add on, and I don't want it to be deleted. Because remember, when you refresh your templates, when the script goes and refreshes the templates or downloads the new templates, it's going to delete all the previous ones with DTB TT00 on. It's going to replace them with new and updated refreshed ones. So if you want a very specific template that you have even done your own work on, go and edit it and remove the DTB TT00 at the end, so that the next time that you run the script, it will not be deleted. So that is it. Okay, guys, I hope this has been a far longer video than I intended it to be. But we've covered some really cool aspects. Setting up the NinjaTrader 8 platform with the DTB tools. We've covered the importing of the tools. We've covered the templates. We've covered 2 signal charts. We've covered 2 strategies, 2 automated strategies. So we've done a fair amount of work. We've even added in a separate template that was created and put in. What else have we done? We've looked in depth at the strategy itself, how to move the sliders, what the slider effects are. We've also gone and looked at the strategy analyzer, how that works, how we can run optimization to find the most current up-to-date settings. One final note on the optimization: if you run the optimization and the time on the chart is not matching to your trading chart, just go and adjust this date. Sometimes you have to go a day ahead. Sometimes you have to go the exact same day that you are trading. Just make sure that when you do that, that the price is actually optimizing right up until the absolute current price that you are trading your chart on. And then keep doing that, and your chances of success using the DTB system with the automated strategies, especially the analytical strategy, especially that strategy over here where you have got your sliders with your setting A, your setting B, and your tick delay. These strategies with your strategy analyzer are going to be your bread and butter. Once you work with them for a while, you optimize them, you are giving yourself the absolute best opportunity, the absolute best possibility of generating an income, because you are using highly optimized settings and highly optimized tools up until current price to give you the most probable settings that the strategy will enter to generate favorable results. So I hope this has been very informative, and I hope that you are able to gain a lot from it and start the journey of earning consistent returns using the DTB tools, especially if you are new to the system. And at your fingertips right now, you've got all the templates, you've got incredible training available. And through this video, especially going into a bit of the finer details. And I know that this is going to be a huge benefit for you, especially if you're going to treat trading as a business, and you want to create an income out of this with very little stress, with very little fatigue, with with very little education, really. I mean, you don't have to go and study major charting analysis. You don't have to go learn candlestick patterns. You don't have to go learn all the crap associated with trading, because there's so much crap out there that is all there just to completely blindside you and make it seem extremely complicated. If you can just learn some very, very simple techniques on how to use the strategy analyzer, how to adjust the settings, look for the most probable settings, that is going to be the closest you are going to get to consistent results. And that's why this DTB system is definitely by far the leading system on the entire planet when it comes to automated trading, bar none. The technology we have in these indicators and the technology we have in these strategies far surpasses anything that exists. So again, thank you so much for being on this video. And thanks for watching it to the end. If you've watched this whole video to the end, I applaud you. That means that you really are serious about trading. You are very serious about making this a consistent income. And I look forward to working with you and seeing what templates you can put together, what strategy settings you can create, what different setups you can provide, and what feedback you can give to the group to help everybody succeed, so we all can really enjoy this game of trading and make it a success. And I should have had that all with my video on, because I'm talking to a screen and everybody was, not seeing me. Thank you guys, and thank you so much again. And look out for the next videos. We are going to continually be providing updates. I'm going to be explaining more of the tools, updating a lot of the older videos on the website. The website is way behind in videos. The tools are way behind in documentation, but at least this video is going to give you exactly what you need. That'll keep you going for the next many, many weeks, if that's all you focus on. So thanks again, guys, and I'll chat to you soon. Cheers.